Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Got Balls podcast. It's me, your host, Steve Trudeau. My two co-hosts with me today, Emmanuel Pacheco, Michael Almeida. Thank you guys for being here. Love hanging with you all. We're joined by guest Jimmy Gilchrist, aka James Gilchrist, because he's fancy now. He's holding up a UMass Amherst flag. He's very proud of his Minutemen. They won a national championship yesterday. Jimmy, how are you, sir?
Fantastic, Steve. Good to be here.
And
Go UMass.
You're decked out in LA Rams gear, supporting where you're at. It looks beautiful in the background, man. The nice day in LA.
It's a perfect day in Southern California. That didn't do anything. But yeah, it's always beautiful down here.
It's good to have you, buddy.
They aren't good at hockey, so
it's all good. You got your Minutemen. So today should be an interesting show. We have a lot to get into. We have a couple of really hot topic things to dive into. I'm going to start with probably the most talked about sports story in the past week or so, which is the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Now, I know Jimmy's familiar with this. Mikey's familiar with this. Emmanuel has no idea. He's up in Canada. He doesn't know what the hell's going on in America. And you know what, buddy? I envy that. I'm not going to lie. Sounds like a great way to live.
Yep. Ignorance is bliss.
That's usually my motto, my friend. So let's dive into this story, and I'll open up with Emmanuel afterwards. So let's just go right into it. This week, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was moved from Atlanta, Georgia, to Denver, Colorado. This was on the heels of a couple of voting law changes that went in effect, signed by their governor, I believe, over the weekend of last weekend. And the general idea is that there was a lot of pushback about these changes. They were supposedly very restrictive, and I kind of want to just kind of outline some of the things that was changed to their voting laws. And I'm not going to give any opinions. I'm not here to give opinions on this stuff. I want to just kind of tell you what happened, and then I actually want to throw it to Emmanuel because he is a neutral observer in this whole thing. He's not American. He could give two shits about what's going on down here. So let's just get into it, shall we? Some of the changes that occurred. First change, the absentee voting request window. They tightened that up from 6 months prior to the election to 78 days, which is approximately 2.5 months. So the window to request an absentee ballot shrunk approximately half. Let's see. Counties are now required to send out these ballots 29 days prior to an election. The old system was 49, so they shrunk the window from when the ballots can be sent to people for these mail-in ballots. There was a voter ID requirement added to mail-in ballots. So previously it was a signature requirement. Now you have to send in either a copy of your ID or your driver license number or social security number. Just a couple more changes. They changed the drop box requirement. So previously it was kind of all over the place. It was up to the counties themselves. Now it's one drop box per early voting site or one per 100,000 voters. They put a ban on handing out food and water within 150 feet of a polling place. So those are some of the changes that drew a lot of criticism. There were some changes that were supposedly an expanded access of voting. So these changes were that they require now 2 Saturdays of early voting. Previously it was 1, so they expanded early voting a little bit there. And they now require a monitoring of polling places. Basically, they're looking to find polling sites that have an hour-long plus wait. And if this is a thing where there's a long wait, they are going to either add an additional polling location to that area, or they're going to put more financial money into that area to expand, the access of voting in that location to ease the burden. So those were some of the changes. The main target of this appears to be the mail-in voting, which was a big hot button issue around the time of the election. So all those changes, Emmanuel, do you think there should be a huge fuss about this? Do you think that what's your general take on all these changes? And I want to just say this, the whole reason behind these changes were allegations of voter fraud during the 2020 election cycle, which this is not an opinion, folks. It was proven to be not true. There was not widespread voter fraud. That's a fact. So that is the cause of the changes. Those were the changes. And as a result of those changes, the All-Star game was pulled by MLB from the city of Atlanta. And actually, it's not even in Atlanta, let's be honest. It's actually in a different city. It's pulled from Atlanta. It is now in Denver. That's a lot to unpack, Emmanuel. I'm just going to throw it to you as the Canadian in the bunch.
So listen, we watch more CNN and I'll watch Fox News because I subscribe to both just so I can hear the difference of opinions. But we watch more U.S. news than we do Canadian news. I can barely tell you who the Prime Minister is today, but I will tell you that it's very blatant that this is a Republican ploy to get more votes or to reduce the vote so they have a better chance to win. It's very blatant, right? And again, it's based on a lie. So that's what we see. We just see it just absolutely crazy and how politicized everything is, right, in the US. So for us up here, we look at it and say, like, that would never happen in Canada like that. Like, it just couldn't happen because as soon as anybody loses confidence in the government, then that government is out. Like, it literally is. You have to be very careful about how you actually put laws together, and in the US, it just very much like a very individualistic approach to government. And so it's very strange. And again, we're seeing it from the outside and we're just looking at all this craziness, and it is just absolutely insane. The only thing I will say though is the glimmer or the hope that's out there. I still say that you've got you've got a lot of people that are fighting against it or bringing up, or that's the glimmer of hope, is that people are not just lying down and letting it happen. I don't know how it's going to change anything, but what do you guys think right now in terms of, will it actually change and enough people against the laws that are trying to be enacted all over the US?
I could tell Mikey is loving this topic. First of all,
I'm excited for it to be at Coors Field. Number one, your sister brought up an amazing point. How amazing it's going to be, that home run derby, baby. I want all of the biggest hitters there, and nothing against the Braves. They probably have a nice ballpark, but that's what I'm excited for. All this political stuff.
You're not into this at all?
Yeah, let's play baseball, baby. It's already boring enough, so we don't need any drama. So
maybe we'll spice it up. Maybe it needs drama. Huh?
What does Jimmy think in LA? They're pretty laid back over there now, Jimmy, right?
So, I mean, the first thing I want to say, didn't MLK spend most of his life, fighting voting rules like this? So it's a shame that we're going back 50 years. But to bring it to sports, I think is why I joined the industry and why it's so powerful, is that it does have the platform and it does have the desire to work against oppression or any of those things too. And they're using that platform, I think, powerfully. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's discussing it. They could have slid that voting rule under the table. I never would have heard about it if it wasn't for the MLB All-Star game. So that's why I appreciate them doing that. I think it brings awareness, and it's pretty archaic what they're trying to pass.
Yeah, I know awareness is important, but at the same time, we can all be aware of something and they don't have to necessarily make any changes, right? I think that they're probably just going to weather the storm and it's just going to be there. And I understand that there's arguments to be had on both sides. I have an opinion. I'm going to try to keep my opinion as far away as possible and try to just kind of present some of the details and facts on the matter. But the big issue is that in larger cities, and I actually am curious of how it works in your area there, Emmanuel, because you're Canadian. Are you in the city of Toronto, or are you on the outskirts of Toronto?
So outskirts of Toronto, but like probably about 20 minutes, 30 minutes away from Toronto.
Okay, so you're a suburb, essentially.
Yeah. But what was the question that you asked?
Well, I didn't actually ask a question yet. I'm trying to set something up. And Jimmy, are you in the central LA, like you in the heart of LA?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. It's a large county, though.
This might be a better question for you, is I know in some of the larger cities, it is difficult to vote, as far as just like locations are not funded properly. They get overrun with voters, and people are waiting long hours in line. That's, depending on where you live, especially one of the worst cities in America is New York City. You hear stories of like 2-3 hour, 4 hour waits just to go vote. Is this the case? Do you find in LA just these long lines of voting and difficulties voting?
I luckily, since I've been here, I only voted once. I did the mail-in, which was fantastic. But there are a lot of restrictions that make it difficult for a lot of people, especially the larger amounts of the ones who are in congested areas to go to one place. So again, you see a lot of work and effort by the sports industry to help improve this. So SoFi Stadium, the Forum, Dodger Stadium, all these places opened up to become voting polls to allow people to come in, so it wasn't as limited. So that's what I love. I just love seeing sports going in and having their impact, which is great. But yeah, I don't think bad. Mail-in's the way to go.
So I guess my overarching point was that, some of these bigger cities, it is difficult as far as the wait times to vote. And I think a lot of people took advantage of the mail-in option this election cycle. And the changes are essentially a way to hack away at these mail-in voting options. And the reason why there's such an objection, what I've seen, the objections are that, some of these cities where there's a ton of people, they really relied heavily on the mail-in options because it's difficult to vote in person. So putting in some of these laws that affect mail-in voting, it disproportionately affects the population of people in the city. And if you look at the numbers, I'm not making this up, there's statistics to show that the people who live in the cities in these densely populated areas vote one way. So it's strategic. It's strategic in the precision of like targeting a particular population.
I'm going to say this. If Donald Trump's kids can mail in their votes, everyone should be able to. It's just that simple. You can't go one way or the other, right?
Yeah. And I just want to get out in front and saying that we're not saying that they're trying to say people can't mail and vote, because that's not what these changes are doing. You can still mail and vote. So let's just get out in front and saying that this is not an attempt to stop mail and voting, but it's a small way to make it harder to do so.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to stop people from doing something. You just have to make it incrementally difficult, and you make people less apt to do an action, right? Like, let's say you're doing a ton of stuff and you're working your ass off just to feed your family. Are you going to like do those extra 5 or 6 steps to vote, right?
Man,
all you got to do is shave a little bit of the voting population away, and that's a win for you. So I want to get out in front and say, we're not saying that these laws stop people from doing mail-in voting, because that's not factual. It just makes it a little more difficult and challenging. And that's all you got to do, is take incremental steps to make things worse and worse and worse. So
that's why MLK marched on Selma. They could vote. They just made it very difficult to do it. So it's the same thing they're doing again. It's crazy.
So in Canada, just so you know, every school, every public school, I should say, that is a voting center in Canada, period. So if you can drop your kids off at a school, you can vote. That's pretty much it. And you're allowed to take 4 hours in the day of your 8-hour work day to vote as by law. So you actually are allowed. You're not allowed to do that during the day for work and stuff like that?
So it's up to the corporations themselves. It depends on where you work. So if you have a job that allows you to do so, you can. But the problem is, here's the problem, with more education, you have a job that is less apt to fire you and give you more freedoms. It's just a fact of life. So if you're someone working a lower education job that's very manual and you're very replaceable, they're less apt to say, we're going to be kind to you and give you this time off. It's more of like, hey, tough luck. You can do what we say or get the hell out. We'll get someone else to replace you. And that's the population that's really hurting by some of these restrictions. But yeah, go ahead, Emmanuel. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, that makes sense. So I understand. And again, because here it's not by corporation, it's by law. So you actually, any job that you would have, you'd still be able to vote. And the hours of voting are pretty, they're pretty long, right? So there's really never really long lineups for voting here.
The crazy thing about the United States is I looked up some of the voter turnout in various elections, and we're just awful at voting in general. Like, it's sad. The average voting turnout for the eligible population is around 58% over the past 6 elections. So that means more than 40% of the eligible population just doesn't participate. That's just got to change. I don't care who you vote for, left, right, center, whatever. Like, you guys got to just go and vote, man, because if you don't vote, then whatever we're doing is not what the consensus is. We're just doing what some people want to do. But before we move off this topic, this is kind of a heavy topic. Are there any actual All-Star game things? I know, Mike, you're big into baseball. Are there any All-Star things that excite you? I know you mentioned the Home Run Derby. Anything else?
I'm excited to see who gets selected as well, right? We want to make sure that kids are getting to see their favorite players, but at the same time, I want to see the players that deserve to be there, right? I know that Trudeau's doing his own fantasy baseball team, and he's got this guy, and I'm a Dodger fan, but he's got this guy named Cronenworth. I want to see Cronenworth at the game. I want to see the guys that deserve to be there. I wish they kind of did what basketball did, though, with the whole like backyard pickup. You know, you pick each player. That'd kind of be different and cool, but that's not going to happen. What about you, Jimmy? What do you want to see?
You gotta love the Home Run Derby, and that's just the best.
Who do you want to see at the Home Run Derby?
I don't know. I don't care. Manny Machado. Let's go see him. Let's see him.
I do love the new format of the Home Run Derby where it's a head-to-head. I think they changed that like 3 or 4 years ago. I find that super exciting. Of all like the all-star events in professional sports, I think the Home Run Derby is by far the most exciting. I don't know if you guys agree. Yeah.
No,
Put
for
up there
sure.
with like the 3-point contest.
I love the 3-point contest myself, but I still give the Home Run Derby the slight edge over the 3-point competition.
How crazy, okay, and I just want to say this. How crazy do you guys think it's going to be? Let's say, because the Astros are going to get a player there, having all 29 teams fans booing you is going to be ridiculous. So as a country, we can all come together and do that. So make sure you do if you're going to be at Coors Field. And Emmanuel, what do you want to see at the baseball field? I know you got your Blue Jays hat on. I mean, your shirt on. Looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm all ready. I just go for the food. And I like, it's such a long game. It's such a long game. By the 7th inning stretch, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm literally ready to go.
I will say baseball is somewhat of a boring game to watch, but it's one of the most fun events to go to because you can just kind of hang out with your friends, chit chat, have a few drinks. It's a very relaxing.
Some good gambling. Some good gambling games. I just tried a new one last game. It's fun. The cup in the hand. I bet some people out there know it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't
Jimmy.
know, man.
I would like to hear it.
Oh, would you? Yeah. Okay, we just everyone's got their own rules, but you essentially sign points to like a single, a double, a fly out, a home run, and after each batter you pass the cup to the next person. But when they get the cup, you got to ante up with $1. So you just keep passing it, you keep putting in money if they strike out or whatnot, and then whenever someone hits a home run, whoever holds the cup keeps all the money.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
at the very end
That's
of
pretty
the
cool.
game as well. Yeah. But you lose so if your guy flies out, you only put $1 in, but if your guy strikes out, you put $3 in, and you just wait, till the end. Of course, one time I did only one home run, at the beginning. So the pot was like $90 at the end.
This sounds like something we could do virtually when we watch a basketball game. I think we can do that as well, where we just virtually pass the cup to Mikey, and then I pass it to Trudeau, and then I'll pass it to Jimmy, and then whenever they hit, and we can do that for baseball too. But okay, no,
I like where you're going, man. You didn't have to putter out on that one. We'll try it. You can make up the game. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Always
play
like to
any
gamble.
game that I'll play a game that Jimmy makes up. I'm not playing a game that Emmanuel makes up. We're gonna lose. There's no way. There's no winning that game, Trudeau. I'm trying to save you and your wallet right now, buddy.
Wait, you're saying, but this is from the guy that created the Big Baller Bucket that we've all kind of now regretting because it's been fantastic unless you lose, which luckily I haven't lost very often.
I think Trudeau's winning this week. Trudeau, aren't you doing well this week? You got the Nets.
I got the Nets, so it's not a bad week for me.
Wait, who's losing then? Oh,
I think you're losing.
No, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
I think Brad's having a rough go at it because someone gave him the Toronto Raptors.
Give him the Raptors. That was really bad.
Yeah, that's a
Brad-
true friend right there.
If you're listening, send the hate mail to Emmanuel as much as you can, buddy.
So, Mikey, since we're on baseball, I want to ask you if there's anything that you've liked so far in the MLB season. I know it's early. We're only about 10 games in, so it's less than 10% of the whole season. But is there anything that stuck out to you so far, or something that you haven't thought would happen that it is happening, or vice versa?
The Boston Red Sox. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I do not like the Red Sox, but you have to tip your hat to them. They're doing a great job right now. They won today, right? Trudeau. The game ended when we got on. I think they won like 14-9 today. They're in first. The Yankees are struggling out of the bat, which is pretty surprising because they're supposed to be the team. It's the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, the Astros are doing well, which I absolutely hate, and the Oakland A's are not doing well. And the Dodgers are the Dodgers right now. The other thing that's pretty surprising is got to be the Mets. I don't know, Trudeau, did you get to, or Jimmy or Emmanuel, did you guys get to see what happened their last game where it was bases loaded, 2 outs, and the batter actually went into the ball and got hit
Oh yeah.
and walked the winning run in? And usually you could go to replay, but because it was the last play of the game or whatever, the refs cut that game. And hopefully that's not a trend that's going to start happening, because he literally goes into the ball. That's Pete Alonso, the first baseman for the New York Mets, possibly one of their best players. And besides that, it's been a great season. I'm just excited fans are back in the stands too.
Wait, there's no cheating in baseball, is there?
None, not at
Never
all.
happened.
Okay.
No
It's
gambling.
only cheating
either.
if you get caught. Only cheating when you get caught.
So
It was a
I don't
crazy
actually
also.
know that rule about the leaning in. So you're not allowed to lean into pitches.
This was bad, Trudeau. The guy was like over the plate. Like he
The
like
ump
started
called it a
off.
strike. Ump
Yeah.
called it a strike and then switched
Oh,
it
so-
to hit by pitch. Like he was
Oh.
out.
So
Oh,
that's
wow.
pretty bad. That is very
Yeah.
close to the plate.
There
You
is
should
one
watch it.
thing that I definitely do want to bring up, which is the beloved Astros getting booed and trash cans happening at Angel Stadium. So, and being thrown onto the field. So, Steve, why don't you give us a rundown on what happened, buddy?
Sure. I didn't watch it at all, so I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, but I'll give it a go. So let me guess. They were at Angel Stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the Astros, and someone threw a trash can on the field.
Not only that, someone dressed up as Oscar the Grouch as well.
I
and they
love
let
that.
him in. They let
I
him
love it.
in. And Dusty Baker, who is the manager for the Houston Astros, who had nothing to do with any cheating scandal, and when they made their apologies, was by far the most sincere, has come out and basically told us this is a sad day for America and
Oh,
that we should
God.
stop booing them, which I think it's
No.
helping the ratings. If anything, you have your bad guy. It's usually the Yankees, which they're still the bad guys, but the Astros by far are the bad guys.
Can I ask you something, Mikey?
Absolutely.
So from that 2018 team that won the World Series, I believe it's 2018, how many players are still left? Because I feel like they're just booing a bunch of random guys who joined the team later.
Yeah, so that's true. I will give you that. And Verlander, their top pitcher, is out for the season with Tommy John surgery. But you have the two biggest punks on the team, which are Bregman and Altuve. Those are the two that deserve it more than anybody. They're the faces of the franchise. And Altuve is known for the guy who didn't want his shirt ripped off. And there's all, like Emmanuel said, there was no cheating in baseball, but we'll see what ends up happening. The ball never lies. So, yeah.
At what point do you think that it's going to be a little ridiculous that they keep doing this? Like they have this full season. If they start doing it next year, I mean, come on. At that point, you guys are being a little stupid about it, right?
Yeah, I think what you have to do is you got to still boo Bregman and Altuve because Carrera is not coming back. He's
For
already
life?
for every single game, everything that you could possibly get.
And
Can
they
I
should
take
do it
this
when they're
one-
on.
Can I
Yeah,
take this
go
one step further?
Yeah.
I don't want them to just be. I'm going to go completely with you and just go all the way. Forget just booing them at the baseball stadium. I want them to go to a grocery store or a movie theater and just people be like, boo!
Oh man,
Everywhere they go, boo them, right?
that would be
They earned it.
fantastic.
I think it should go across the teams too. Like if they leave the team, boo them on whatever next team they go to.
Boo their
Forever.
children. Boo the children.
Don't bring
Can
their
I-
kids into it.
Hey,
I'm
they
mad-
brought kids into it, but they got those damn trash cans.
Imagine going to the ballpark and being told this every single game. Like, and Altuve, he's small, so you know that they're poking at that. Bregman, I don't know what they're gonna poke on Bregman. He's like,
He's small
before
too, man.
this. No, Altuve is like 5'5", 5'4". Like that's gonna be tough going into. Oh, that is tough. I do not, love their job for them right now Because, oh man, how do you stay confident? Like with all of that being said every single week.
How do you cheat to win a title? You know?
I don't
And
think
then-
they really care, man. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a nuisance to just have to deal with people throwing trash cans on the field and all that nonsense. I mean, look at their record. They're 6-3. They're on top of the ALS right now. I think they could care less, man. Go
Well,
Astros.
I know you both are athletes, and Emmanuel's probably the best athlete here. So, Emmanuel, let's say you're having trouble at your job, right? And someone keeps on coming over and booing you and saying mean things to you every single game. How would that affect your psyche?
Well, that happens kind of every day with my best friends. 'Cause I get a lot of people that boo me. Yeah. I have a lot of
If you-
stories.
If you
Wait,
do
people are
sales,
booing
that's
you?
a normal day, man.
Yeah, I'm in sales. Rejection is normal. No, I have a fun time. I have a fun time. I work at Google, but it's pretty interesting because we do have a lot of behind the scenes kind of people booing and people like jealous of when you close a deal. Everybody hates you in the team. So I don't know. You just kind of take it as it is.
Sounds like you have shitty teammates, man. Not throwing
No.
anyone to the bus, but
They're all fun. They're all fun. Because I hate
Sales life.
them. They do well.
Yeah. Sales life.
Sales.
so Miguel, is there anything else before we move on to a different baseball topic? Is there anything else that caught your attention this early in the season? Any players, anything like that? I'll tell you one guy that I've loved is my boy Yermin Mercedes. Came out of nowhere. This guy from the Chicago White Sox. I think he had a historic start to the season. I think he hit first 8 pitches. First 8 at bats with hits. Mikey is keep doing this. Just keep playing charades with me and tell me about this guy. But he's had a great start to the season, right, Mike?
Yeah, he's looked really good. I didn't even know who the hell he was. I don't think anyone besides his family members knew who he was. The other one that's been pretty cool is Oakland had this guy from Hawaii, and if you know Hawaii, they're passionate about their players. So Colton
Flying
Wong's one of
Hawaiian.
them. Yeah, so they call him Hawaiian Punch, and that's
Good nickname.
his name's Kai Tom, and he's made his MLB debut. And because the Astros were killing Oakland, they let him pitch. And every Astro hitter was smoking the Oakland A's like ridiculous. So they had their left fielder come and pitch, and he struck out 2 and he got a fly out, which was unbelievable. But his mom was at the game, and it was absolutely adorable. That was a really good storyline too. And the A's just haven't been good, but now they're getting better. So yeah.
So another MLB story I wanted to touch on was the madness that's going on with the Texas Rangers. And the madness doesn't involve them being good at baseball, but more of their stadium, what's going on there. Did you guys know anything about Texas? No?
Good ribs.
None of them.
Good ribs.
Good ribs. Anyone else have any, like, when you think of Texas, what's the first word that comes into your mind? Texas.
Guns.
That's actually a pretty good one.
Right?
Ted
Yeah,
Cruz.
Houston's different than
Ted Cruz, guns. All very fair.
Republican state.
I think of freedoms and liberties, and they're like, don't tell me what to do. Don't mess with Texas, right? That's the phrase, don't mess with Texas. Well, don't tell them what to do.
I feel
What?
like that's every state in the U.S.
Hmm,
I don't think it's just Texas. Okay,
it's a mixed
Boston.
bag.
Let's go. Okay, go make fun of anybody in Boston. Anybody in Massachusetts. Yeah, they'd be on your ass. Texas, the same thing. I think it's every U.S. state.
That's
Yeah, I think
legitimately though.
the Boston guys could take the Texas guys. So
Oh, see?
Oh,
Listen, I'm from the Boston area, and I say that is completely untrue because I think everyone in Texas is packing, and I am not fucking with Texas. I'm telling you that right now.
listen, there's 3 states that give us problems. It's California, Florida, and Texas. It's always those 3.
yeah.
All the other ones are little angels.
Anywho, back to what's going on in Texas. So they actually opened up a new ballpark, the Texas Rangers, last year. And unfortunately, they had no one to put in the stands because of the pandemic. So they're hurting for money. They want to fill this ballpark. They were given the okay by the state of Texas, do whatever you want, and they filled that sucker. They had 38,000 people in the stands for their first game at the new ballpark. no spacing in sight. Everyone was packed in there. Masks optional, we'll say, with air quotes optional. It was a little crazy there. So, Emmanuel, what is your general feeling about what's going on with the Texas Rangers? And I know you're in Toronto. I don't even think you're allowed outside.
No, we're not allowed. No, we're locked down. Like, people don't understand. We're at stay-at-home lockdown. So you guys have it easy, I think, in some of the other places. But we are stay-at-home lockdown. So we can't go watch a game, can't go to a restaurant. Everything is takeout. So yeah, like it's pretty difficult. But again, Texas Rangers, what am I supposed to know about it? Like, I don't know much about what's going on. Explain to me what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're 3-6. They're a terrible baseball team, and there's 38,000 people willing to get COVID to go watch their sorry ass play baseball.
Yeah,
So
silly.
Good on you.
That's just completely silly.
I think there's a lot more than 38,000 people willing to get COVID to go watch something live, though.
I will say, I'm not like, I'm with you, man. I am so itching to get outside and do something, and like, I am with all those people, but man, let's be smart about this just a little bit, okay? I mean, me and my good friend Mikey are gonna go watch baseball in a couple weeks
against the Blue Jays, right?
The Blue
yes,
Jays.
sir.
Oh,
They're not even your team anymore. They're Florida kind of team.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut this out of the podcast. So whoever's listening live, if you can hear us, this is what happens. You sometimes got to stop the show. Who the hell is playing us super loud in the background? Because I can hear my voice reverberating. Someone playing the Facebook Live feed or something?
it's probably me.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
I've paused it. There you go.
Like to see how you look.
Is it gone now? Is it gone
very
now,
loud.
Trudeau?
Yes, it's gone now.
Okay.
So you and Mikey are even. You guys are both 1 for 1 as far as playing loud shit in the background during our recording. So
I got
it's
the
all good.
Masters on. I thought that's what it is.
Anyways, I don't even know where we were.
The Masters
Texas,
can't
get
be
them
loud.
loaded up.
Yeah, Texas Rangers, y'all are crazy, man. I mean, do you, Texas? Have fun, guns blazing, but man, I am not about that lifestyle.
The Astros are at 50% capacity too. What the hell is going on with that? So is it just the Rangers being stupid?
Well, like I said, they opened up a new ballpark last year, so they probably wanted to recuperate some of that money. And when you build a new ballpark, you usually get a big boost in attendance because people want to check it out. It's a brand new hot thing in town, right? I mean, Jimmy knows LA just built that beautiful SoFi Stadium. I'm sure people are itching to get in there, right?
Oh yeah, like desperately want to go in there. Maybe
All
we'll
right.
do 38,000. We'll see. But also, where's Texas? Where are the Rangers located, right? Too, because that may be different. It may be based on like Houston may have a much larger COVID issue than wherever the Rangers are posted up.
I think Jimmy just fell into a trash can.
What happened, buddy? You got sucked into a black hole or something. Your audio just went completely to shit.
Oh really?
Oh,
there
you're
you
back. You're back
My-
now.
Alright.
My favorite part was Trudeau's face of disgust. Give him that same face, Trudeau. Get
Yeah,
your
let me see
Hennessy in, buddy. Go ahead.
With the
Please give me that
mustache.
face.
Can we cheers after that then?
Yeah, I'll cheers you, buddy. I'm leaving that in the podcast, by the way. You just screwing up the whole thing. Thanks, Jimmy.
Excellent, good.
Well,
So what happened? You can hear me? What else? Yeah, but so what I was saying, like, where's Texas? Where are the Rangers located, right? Because what if Houston just has a much worse case problem now? So that's why they did 50%.
and he's back in the black hole. I love I think what happens, Jimmy, is I think there's like a curse. If you talk about the Houston Astros, you just fall into a black
It's just
hole.
blurred out.
So
Yeah.
don't do that. They have some sort of tracking device on us that we can't talk bad about the Astros. So let's just leave them. Let's let them be. Let them be. So let's move on to a lighter topic because this is some heavy stuff. The next topic on the agenda is Deshaun Watson. So a much lighter. So I love how Emmanuel knew where I was going because as soon as I said let's move on to a lighter topic, the highlighter just showed up of Deshaun Watson. So you knew where I was going with that. I appreciate that. That's teamwork, my friend.
It's spelled wrong,
chemistry.
by the way. Deshaun. It's a
All
UN.
right. So the funny thing about the Deshaun Watson story is that Emmanuel has no idea what we're talking about. He's from Canada, does not follow American football. So this should be interesting to kind of give him a rundown on what the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson. Are you ready, Emmanuel? And I'm going to strangle all of you people today. I swear to God. Emmanuel, you've muted yourself. Please unmute yourself. Good.
Jeez.
I did. I'm sorry. So I got to figure. I got multiple mute buttons. There we go. Sorry.
I got a bunch of amateurs around here.
Yeah.
Unprofessional.
It's hard to get good help nowadays.
At least you sound silky smooth after that.
I know my deep voice with my Elvis mic. I'm going to be karaoke later on. And then Jimmy can do the Oscar the Grouch trash can impersonation.
I love it. Can you give us we were joking around before the show. Can you give us like a deep, sultry like radio DJ like, hello, this is Emmanuel Pacheco checking in
Hello.
live.
The 401 is packed today and it's going to be sunny. It's a Sunday and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Okay.
That wasn't as sexy as I was hoping for, but I'll take it. The 401 doesn't get me turned on, my friend.
Oh, that's Toronto. That's like traffic. There we go.
All right.
If you knew the 401, that would have got you going.
So for Emmanuel, I'll start from the beginning. Deshaun Watson, Emmanuel, is an NFL quarterback. He plays for the Houston Texans. I believe about 3 months ago, he requested a trade out of Houston. He wanted out. He wanted gone. About a month and a half after that, a few allegations popped up of him with some sexual misconduct stuff. Essentially, there was a massage therapist that he had over to give him massages. He found her on Instagram, and there's allegations of sexual misconduct around that request. Started off pretty small, 3 or 4 women stepping up, and it has since snowballed. We're at 22 allegations of sexual misconduct. And the allegations are pretty heinous, depending on which one you look at. It ranges quite a bit. So I have a lot of stuff in front of me, some stuff from the affidavits. So some of the minor ones include just refusing to cover his genitals during the massage. Granted, I mean, I say it's minor, but still kind of weird and inappropriate. And it ranges is forcing or grabbing the massage therapist's hand and directing them to his genitals. And apparently these women felt very threatened by this. Obviously that the acts in itself are threatening, but he apparently made it seem like it was not a request, more of a demand for some of these things. So basically these allegations have compiled to number 22 now. And the defense team has been very quiet. They've taken an approach of trying to discredit these women. So they started off by saying, well, one of these women actually requested money before coming public in this civil lawsuit. So they tried to make it look like it's a money grab. That's kind of the angle they're taking. Since then, listen, if this is your defense, this is really bad for you. He has found other massage therapists that has worked with him that say good things. So I guess, if you rob a bank and then say, well, I didn't rob this bank, ask them. You're not a bank robber, right? I guess that's the angle we're taking. And actually this weekend, it's actually escalated a little more. So at first they weren't saying that there was a sexual assault that occurred, but now he's pivoted the defense team and they're saying that, well, no, there was no sexual assault, but there was consensual sexual acts that occurred. So now he's admitting to some of these things did happen, but the angle has shifted to, well, we're both on board. I think they're going to try to play the angle of, they're just money grabbing and this was all consensual. This is a big witch hunt. And I get it. Like, we want to say, well, we have to do the due legal process. But here's the problem. 1 or 2 people, I get it. 1 or 2 accusations. 22. So we're now operating under the assumption that 22 people are actively conspiring together against this person in a money grab. Like I said, you can give people the benefit of doubt. I understand that. But to now think that all 22 people are making this all up as this big conspiracy, that's the red flag. So it's actually gotten worse too for him. He lost his Nike sponsorship this week, so sponsors are starting to back out. There's been no word from the NFL. My opinion, what's going to happen is that he will start the season under the commissioner's exempt list. It's a list that was created after Ray Rice to kind of put people suspended until further notice. And I actually think, guys, that this is going to end up as like a Bill Cosby thing. And what I say about that is, and I'll say Bill Cosby, oh shit. With the whole Bill Cosby thing, it started as a few civil suits and it quickly snowballed into more and more. And then once that first criminal suit was filed, that snowballed and it just got real bad and he ended up in prison. I think Deshaun Watson is going to be ended by facing jail time. I know the Houston DA is starting to look at this now in the in a criminal aspect, and I don't think this is going to end well for him. I know this is a really tough subject to jump into. Does anyone want to take a crack at what I just said and kind of unravel some of that? Jimmy, go ahead.
Well, I just have one thing to add too in the case, where none of these this is just interesting. Again, who knows what the legal process go through, but none of these allegations came about until after he said he wanted to leave, and they're all being represented by the same legal team as the Houston's owner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, right. I think that's a valid thing to look into as well, right? It's timing and who's representing them all. It's interesting.
I get that angle, but at the same time, have you heard of this term called perjury? Mm-hmm. Or, there's definitely serious criminal offenses that come with lying about these things. And if they go to court and they lie under oath about some of these things, the 22 victims could be facing serious jail time. So it's kind of naive to say, well, there's coincidental timing. Yes, there is coincidental, but at the same time, you're saying these 22 people are jeopardizing a shit ton just to keep Deshaun Watson in Houston or some sort of punishment for the Texans. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, like there's like what was that comedian Aziz who was, there was like a claim of sexual harassment and a few things, but it was like one person, right, or maybe two, and it was clearly that their story didn't track. Then you got the Harvey Weinsteins and the R. Kellys, and so there's a camp like the Matt Gaetz thing going on right now. There's a camp of just really bad people who are womanizers, can get away with everything, and that's kind of the camp that I feel that he's in, right? So I think there's a spectrum for sure, and if it's one or two allegations, yeah, then you look into it to find out how credible. But I agree with Trudeau that there's this thing called perjury, and there is this thing that people don't want to necessarily go to jail themselves for making a false claim either, right? So that's a lot of people. That is, to me,
it's not jail time. You don't get perjury is not that bad. When you can make millions,
I think it can come with some. Go ahead, tell me about why, because I'll look up what the jail time is for perjury. I think there's some significant penalties for that.
So not nearly as. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
There was a comment that came up, and it's actually valid. It is, even one or two allegations is still one or two too many. Like, it's still a serious thing. So not to in any way downplay any of that. But again, it's one of these things. I think there's different camps, right, of looking at where you have very serious allegations with multiple people, and then you have one or two allegations. Then that's something that is not the same situation. I still say it's bad. Still say you don't ever want to have that type of situation, and you should be looking at yourself to kind of figure out, like, what am I doing, right?
So the punishable jail time for perjury can start at least 1 year to 5 years. That's some pretty hefty fines. It's a felony. But another angle about this is Deshaun Watson, right? He works for an NFL team. He's an NFL player. He has professional massage therapists at his whim with the Houston Texans. Why the hell is this guy going to Instagram to find masseuse? There's also some of these reports saying that he was contacting people that were not certified massage therapists to give these massage. So he was just kind of flicking through Instagram and grabbing just about anybody. So it kind of puts in question what he actually was looking for when he's receiving these massages. I mean, another aspect is, so 22 people alleged this misconduct. There was another 30 or so that backed him up, said he was a good guy. Great. But that means he's going through like 50 plus massage therapists on Instagram, which is kind of, I mean, do you, man? But that's kind of a bizarre red flag right there. To just be grabbing anyone on Instagram to be your massage therapist when you have all the money at your disposal and a team that can provide massage therapist for free for your access. So the motive is definitely super questionable. I think we can all kind of agree that he had some sort of motive besides getting a massage going in. And the question is, like the he said, she said, was he forcing himself upon these women? And then when you have 22 saying that they were assaulted, I mean, you can say some of them were lying, but to say all 22 was just statistically not the reality. The reality of the matter is that this guy seems like he has a predatory behavior where he has a pattern of action and he keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I think it's funny that, when Deshaun Watson asked for a trade from the Houston Texans, people gave him the benefit of the doubt, and just people kind of like Deshaun Watson. I mean, I was a big Deshaun Watson fan myself. He just seemed like a really wholesome, good guy. And I think people are still giving him the benefit of the doubt because they want to like him. They want to say, there's no way my Deshaun Watson would do this. There's no way, he would do this sort of thing. But I think that we're going to see over the next couple of months that he is not the person we thought he was. And I don't know how this is going to end for him. I mean, at the very least, he's going to be suspended from the NFL for a good amount of time. I mean, you look at guys like Jameis Winston a couple of years ago, got 4-game suspension for an incident in an Uber. You look at Ben Roethlisberger, granted, this was like 6-7 years ago, 8 years ago at this point, the bathroom incident. I think Ben Roethlisberger, if this was 2020, he would be gone from the NFL. You have to understand this is post Me Too. Like it was always wrong to do these things, but now they're taking seriously and there's consequences. So I think Deshaun Watson's in deep water. I don't think this is getting enough story. I think people are just brushing it off and saying it's a hoax and it's not real, but I think this guy's going to end up in jail. And I'm saying it first in this podcast. You're not going to see Deshaun Watson in the Texans uniform next year. You're going to see him in orange.
I agree.
Mikey, your thoughts? Like he wants nothing to do with this.
No, it's not that I don't want anything to do with it. It's crazy that the first thing is we spoke about this at the very beginning, right? We were planning to talk about it on the show, and it kept on getting held off. And afterwards, it's mind-boggling. It started off, like you said before, Steve, with 2 people coming forward, and now there's 22, right, Steve? Is that right?
22.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Not for any human being to do what is alleged. And just like you said, I will have to agree with you. I believe that at the end of the day, he will end up never playing in the NFL or any kind of sports again. And it's not okay. Emmanuel, what were you going to say?
Well, again, and we're getting some comments as well, but again, it's what about the women that didn't come forward, especially for 1 or 2 people who do come forward, right? And this is the key, is that statistically only 8% of those who come forward with claims of any sexual violence are found not to be founded, and yet historically women are greatly underreported. So 92% of them are already smaller than accurate number are legitimate. I think that's a valid point of saying when 1 or 2 come forward, what about all the others? And I think this is a perfect example of once one speaks out and another speaks out, then it's much more comfortable for others to say, okay, I'm now in a group of others that then my voice can be heard. I think that's an important thing. And again, it's not okay. You've got to be a role model if you're that type of figure in sports, NFL, basketball. You live a different life, and you're still in the public eye. You can't just be doing things that you feel like that's what you want to do. So I think you're at a different standard, right? And again, I still go back to you're in a different camp. You're in the Matt Gaetz, the R. Kelly, the human trash can of Harvey Weinstein, or you're a guy that made a mistake or didn't read it wrong, or is just doing something that thought it was consensual. It wasn't. Like, there's different camps, and this is a whole different level when you have that many people. So I just put them in a different camp, and that's a whole other problem area, and those people typically will either go to jail or just not have any type of career after that.
Let me say, and one thing too, I wonder, when I was saying timing before, what if he wanted to get out of Houston because he knew the shit was about to hit the fan?
Yeah.
So he's like, get me out of here. And then that's what happened. So he didn't even know he was screwed.
I doubt that, because if you're going to do this 22 plus times, at some point you think you're invincible and that the rules don't apply to you. And I think Emmanuel made a great point where there were a lot of people who are assaulted and they're scared and they don't know what to do, and they just feel like, well, maybe it's just me. And when you start seeing people step up and say something, other people come forward, they feel empowered to do so. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed that so many people still want to ride with this guy and defend him and say that people are falsely accusing him. And it's unfortunate because there's 22 people who went through some real shit, and they're constantly being told that their voices and their experiences don't matter, or that they've misread it, or they're just lying. And it's just unfortunate. That's the society we live in.
It's innocent until proven guilty is the society we live in.
Yeah, but I could
Yeah.
murder 22 people, and maybe I don't know where I'm going with that, but
Is
my
that
point
why,
is,
is that why you have the mustache, Trudeau? Is that what you're planning on doing?
Is this after the podcast or like a little later on?
His face is getting red now, so we might be in trouble.
I mean, from all these technical difficulties today, I'm ready to murder at least Jimmy and Emmanuel.
At
So,
least 3 of them.
Thanks, Trudeau.
but I love all you guys.
He takes all the anger out at the baseball game.
Yeah,
I'll hold you back as much as I can, Trudeau.
it's been a very heavy show to say the least, guys.
For sure.
We
So
need
let's
some levity.
let's have some fun. Emmanuel, you
Uh-oh.
told me last week that you were going to watch the show on Netflix that I
Oh,
told you about called
Yeah.
The Circle. And now I watched the full first season with my wife. I will just come out in the front and say that I hate binge watching shows.
Yeah.
I don't like reality TV. So this is not something that I would normally like, but I loved it. And I watched all of them within a week span. Jimmy, you seem like you don't know what I'm talking about. So maybe Emmanuel can fill you in on some of the details of this show. So
No,
Emmanuel.
Only a little bit. I only watched a little bit, and I couldn't watch the rest. I'm sorry. I just could not watch. And again, like some of the characters that are on there, and again, when you take a look at it, it's like a Big Brother concept, but yet there's a catfishing aspect of it, right? It's kind of what it is, and it just goes off the rails, and it got off the rails. Even the first episode, I found it really, really hard to watch. But again, that's just me. Trudeau, what inspired you to want to watch this again? Was it Emily that told you that you had to watch it? Or you
I actually told her that.
Really? Wow.
I heard of it on a podcast, and I had to give it a go because it sounded crazy. And after the first episode, I was like, you know what? It was the first two. You got to watch the first two, and it gets you. But
Yeah,
what
okay.
about what turns you off? Did you watch only
No,
one?
I just found it like just create like the whole reality type of concepts again. I think I'm over it a little bit, and it's just over the top. It goes back to like Jersey Shore. At the time, it was like the greatest thing. It was like, oh, I want to watch this, and it's just insane to watch all of this going on. Now it's I just found it to be a little bit over the top. I found it like the characters that are in it. I just, for me, it just threw me off a little bit. That's all. That's just
So you gave it one episode and you were out.
one episode, but I will give it a second episode. I'll give it a second episode. For you,
So-
I will give it a second episode.
Can you? I tried to explain it last week. Can you tell Jimmy what the show's about? Because he has no idea.
You're better off to tell it because I'm not good at it. Because I literally
Googled
watched
it.
it. I even watched the whole episode from beginning to end.
So real quick, I've known Emmanuel for quite a while now, and I don't think he watched that much, Trudeau. I think he's giving you more than
I watched a little bit of it, and then
I
that was
think
it.
he's-
My wife even said, "What is this crap?"
So how much did you watch?
Oh, like maybe the first 10 minutes.
Oh, that's your problem.
Oh,
No. But Trudeau, let's go back in time and let's see how it began. Right? He said I watched the whole first episode.
no,
right?
I didn't watch
Then
the
he
whole-
went to like 30 minutes, and now it's 10. I'm
I
telling you this right now.
He watched
The guy
30
didn't
minutes?
watch anything. He didn't watch. He Googled it. He
Yeah.
looked it up,
How
and
you
he didn't.
is the
And he's
first line.
laughing. Look, he's laughing because he didn't watch any of it. Okay.
Big Brother meets catfish is exactly how he
So
described
you
it.
read the
In
definition
first-
off of Google. You're an asshole, man. You lied to me.
Do you see?
I'll watch it now. I'll
I
watch it.
know him
No, I don't
so
believe
well.
No way.
I know him so well that I'm like, okay, wait. Let me hear this first. And then, you know what? Trudeau, you just got duped, man. I'm telling you, the guy
just
didn't
got
watch
catfished.
any of it.
He just got circled. Or yeah, whatever it is.
And
Why-
then when he gets nervous, he brings in someone else so that if you have anything, we're not going to call out Myra on the show. So he brings Myra, right? He's full of baloney.
Manual.
That's simple.
I found it on my channel, and I basically see there.
See, she says he never watched it. Wait, Jimmy, can you please say, like, without watching the show, can you read what you just had up, please, Jimmy? Just read what you had
I'll
up.
read this out.
Read us the
Yeah, I'll read the
description.
Mute
Big brother.
Emmanuel.
Before you read it, Emmanuel, why
I wish I
did
could
you
do-
feel like you had to lie to me? You could have told me the truth.
No, I haven't watched it. I literally have it ready to watch, but I have not watched it.
I don't
didn't-
believe that either. I don't believe it either.
I literally watched it, and I played the first few minutes. That's it. That's all I played so far.
What I
That's all.
believe is that you heard me say watch this show, and then you were
Yeah.
like, I'm never gonna watch that effing show ever. Screw Steve.
No,
Jimmy,
I will
Jimmy,
watch
read it. I want to hear Jimmy read it.
This is a segment we like to call James Reads.
Big Brother meets Catfish on this reality series on which not everything is as it seems. So the twist is that the players never meet face to face during the competition, as each one lives in his or her own apartment. The contestants communicate exclusively through profiles created on a specially designed social media app. This anonymity allows them to hide their true identities and portray themselves however they choose. Throughout the competition, the players rate one another. The lowest rated player is put at risk of being eliminated or blocked from the game. The contestant who survives the contest and emerges the winner takes home the $100,000 grand prize.
That sounds like a good show. I might watch it.
Actually,
Dude, you're not invited to my birthday party anymore, Emmanuel. You're uninvited. How about this, Emmanuel?
Okay, go ahead.
You don't have to watch last season, right? Starting this Wednesday, though, the new season begins. The first
So-
4 episodes
I
are
don't
dropped.
have to go back. I can watch the current season.
Try
Is that what
one episode of the current season.
Okay. Beginning to end, and I have to give a report card. Is that what I have to do next time?
If you want, but I
No, I
feel
don't-
like you're just gonna read the review and just read back what the Google review
No,
says.
I will watch it. I'll watch it. Okay, I'll watch it.
It's
he's
really
gonna
good.
get smarter how he comes up with the line now. Not
Yeah,
just the first Google review. He scroll down.
Read the international version translated.
I like that.
Smart. So before we head out of here today, Mikey, I believe we've had a tournament running all of the month of March. We're now midway through April. What is this tournament called?
The March Snackness Tournament.
Oh, and for those
yeah.
new to the proceedings, what is the March Snackness Tournament?
It's all of the best snacks you could possibly think of, with besides pizza bagel bites, which we got a lot of crap online for, going head to head, just like the NCAA tournament for the men's basketball, where people would vote in 4 different divisions to see which is the best. And we have our 2 finalists, and it's going to come down to us 4 hashing it out for the champion. All right.
Ooh.
So let's start with our final 4. What 4 teams made it to the final 4?
We have the red Doritos, right, against the Oreos. So let's
All
start
right,
with
well-
that one first.
Well, let's go. Let's just. What are the other 2 before you start with the matchups?
Brian Picanisco's Fruit by the Foot against Reese Cups.
And I just want to let the audience know, Fruit by the Foot was a 13 seed.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
made it far. It was our Cinderella.
Yes, it was. And now it is time to put an end to this, just like Baylor did to Gonzaga, to Emmanuel's Gonzaga, just to let you know.
Oh, so sad.
So
Did
We
you
need
watch
to
any of the
vote.
game, Emmanuel?
I did it. I did.
I don't believe a word you said. You didn't watch it. Get
You
out of
hit the
here.
cover. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
I know your tells now.
The
so
final score was.
Oh, I don't know what the final score was. I just know they lost.
because we put it in the group chat. All right. So let's start off. If you think Doritos won, raise your hand.
Versus who?
The Oreos. So
This
Doritos,
is
who do you think?
Great for an audio podcast. By
It's
the
fine.
way,
It's fine. Right now, nobody's hand is raised. Who thinks the Oreos won?
yeah, Oreos definitely took down Doritos. It's a far superior snack.
It's
Emmanuel?
a closer
are you
battle
gonna-
than the other bracket. But
Oreo. It's Oreo. Like you can't even like Oreo. It's Oreo.
Jimmy, it wasn't a closer battle. the Oreos swept the floor with red Doritos. Like
Really?
it was literally 30 to like 1.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was you can't I don't get it. I'm
Jimmy,
allergic to chocolate, so go
I
ahead.
might go have an Oreo right now just to eat it, just here on
Okay, go for
on
it.
our audio podcast.
If you do
Give it a
it,
crunch.
eat it right in front of the mic so I get some
Yeah.
ASMR stuff going on.
So it's real sultry. too.
Well, that
Oh,
was a
he's gonna-
creepy laugh.
He's gonna get
Yeah,
That was
right.
creepy, man.
He got him into it.
He's channeling his inner Ted Cruz.
No,
I'm sorry.
Get rid of the side.
You trimmed it up. You don't look like Ted Cruz
Side.
anymore.
If you get rid of the side, you're not that.
I do have a question. Do you guys dunk the Oreos in milk? No? Oh, they're so good that way. You got to try it.
Must be a
But-
Canadian thing. Trudeau,
but
you're
we-
more Canadian than any
I
of
mean,
these guys.
my family's from Canada, but we all agree, right, that with the Oreos, you always rip off 2 Oreos and stuff them together and have the either double or quadruple stuffed Oreos, right? We all do that.
They're little
I've
cream
certainly done
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're little cream sandwiches.
You got to do that.
That's what they are.
Don't you just buy the double stuff now? I think it's just you just go buy the double stuff version. No,
But you need quadruple stuff. What are you doing? Rookie stuff over there.
I think there's so much you can do with it, right? Which is why they're in the finals. I think their flexibility of how you can eat
All
it
right.
is extraordinary.
So we've established Oreos is one of our finalists. So Emmanuel, are you still going to go grab an Oreo for us?
I will. Okay, I will.
Okay, when you do that, Mikey, so why don't you tell the audience what our other semifinal matchup was and who won?
All right, we have our Cinderella story, Fruit by the Foot, going against the heavily favored Reese's Cup. And unfortunately, the
Don't
dance is
tell me.
over. The dance is over. Fruit by the Foot has lost to Reese's Cup. But it was closer. It was a closer matchup. It was only 14-7. So some people still like Fruit by the Foot. You got to give them a
I can't
So
believe
they're
Brian Picanisco voted 7 times.
we didn't even let Brian pick anything after that. Like he was a bit
was out.
like no chance. Oh, here we go. He doesn't have Oreos.
No,
and he can't go outside. So
Oh, Chips Ahoy.
there's nothing left. The
It's a
kids ate
jumbo
all
bag.
the kids ate all the Oreos, so we have none left.
What do you
How
know?
far did,
Emmanuel was lying.
is there any
Yeah.
rules in your household, Emmanuel? Is there any rules?
None
Goodness
left.
How did-
gracious.
How far did Peppermint Patties make it?
Oh, as soon as the fan vote started, they got kicked out.
Oh, really?
Oh,
They
I don't
made
think-
it to the Elite 8, by the way.
They didn't get any votes though. They literally got I had some people asking me what a peppermint patty was.
Yeah.
So like that's just
That's tough.
yeah.
You okay there, buddy?
Yeah, I got my second shot today. So
He got
I can't believe Fruit by the Foot, though. 7 votes against Reese's.
Yeah. So our final then, it's Oreo cookies versus Reese's Cups, which I'm going to be honest, guys, coming into the tournament, I thought this would be the matchup. This was like the national championship for the men's team, number 1 versus number 2, right? Oreo cookie and Reese's Cup, 2 titans of the junk food industry. So Mike, how are we proceeding to find our champion?
Okay, so what's gonna happen is this. It's really simple. I'm gonna keep my eyes open. You guys are gonna close yours. I'm good.
Isn't that what Deshaun said? Sorry.
Oh my!
Oh my God.
And that's when we end the podcast. Thanks, James. You guys have a nice night. Kick him off.
Wow.
Advantage him. No. So really simply, you guys are gonna vote which one you guys want. It's between you 3. I can't have chocolate, so I don't know exactly. I'll vote if it comes down to it, but it won't because there's 3 of you. So we're
Can
good.
we actually open this up to people watching too, if they want to put a vote in the chat room?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So anyone live streaming can throw their 2 cents into who should win this thing.
All right, Emmanuel, you do YouTube. Trudeau does Reddit, and then I'll do Facebook.
Well, unfortunately, Reddit is like
no.
no, it's running, but it's like 7 minutes behind. So
Oh, is
I don't think we'll get their input. It's okay; they're a bunch of savages, anyways. So
All
I
right.
love them. I love them. They're great. So
All right. So if you want Oreo, Jimmy, what's your vote? Tell me. I feel like we're on Survivor.
I know, right? Should I say it aloud? Does it
Yes.
sway people's opinion?
I don't think anyone's voting for you after your last comment. So go ahead, whatever you want, pal.
It was your comment. I was just, putting out an allegation. I'm gonna go with a close battle. I gotta go Oreos.
Okay.
Wow.
We're gonna go Emmanuel next.
I think you already know that I'm gonna go Oreo.
Okay. Danny Trabian, I know that you just joined us. Give us your vote.
Oh, nice.
All right. Steven, what is your vote?
You guys are fools, man. Both of you are fools. The best snack junk food in the game is Reese's Cups, Reese's Pieces, anything Reese's. Give me that peanut butter. Give me that chocolate. Reese's Cups for the win.
Reese's Cups aren't even the best Reese's product.
Oh, man.
Then what's better, Reese's Pieces?
They have the new Nutrageous Reese's. Are delicious. They got those peanut butter bars too, which are fantastic.
Okay. Well, you fell back into the black hole, so your opinion does not matter, sir. Okay. And you got the Reese's eggs. We were just around Easter time. The Reese's eggs are fantastic too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask this. What is Oreo doing? Okay. It's one dimensional. You got the Oreo cookie. That's it. Reese's. I got eggs. I got cups. I got pieces. Reese's all day. They can do so much more.
Oh, Reese's just got another vote, Steve. You're alive.
Damn right.
Oh, are we pitching it?
Let me tell you.
Oreos.
People listening live, Reese's will never betray you. It is the one snack that can do everything for you. It's a cup.
No.
It's a PC. It's an egg. It's whatever you want it to be. You like peanut butter? It's got it. You like chocolate? It's got it. All right? It's not like this bologna Oreo that just keeps stuffing more filling in there to be better. All right? Reese's Cups, it will do everything for you that you want.
You're very passionate about this. This is how many Reese's Cups can you eat in one sitting?
I mean, I could just eat as many as I want, but I'm not going to because I'll get diabetes.
All right. So, Trudeau, you got
Sounds like they
another
have an issue.
Reese's Cup. Another Reese's Cup. We're at 3.
My wife voted against me? What?
3.
We'll just
I would say
filibuster
for all the people with nut allergies out there, Oreos is the way to go.
Yep.
Too very limiting on the Reese's side. Very limiting who can eat them.
Yep. I've
Oreos
had
for anyone
on a plane. I've never had a Reese's Cup on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's powerful.
Have you ever had a Oreo in a movie theater? Because I'm pretty sure they give you Reese's Cups in movie theaters. So you don't have Oreo.
I've actually had an Oreo. Well, that's an important thing. Like the Frenzies. Would you get an Oreo or a Reese's?
Oh, by far Reese's. No, because here's the thing about the Reese's is they put some peanut butter there in there too, and a little chocolate, and a little bit of Reese's Pieces. It's amazing.
So, how can you dip a Reese's Cup into milk?
Oh yeah, right.
Well, here's the thing about
that's multidimensional.
About your jabroni Oreo cookie, the Reese's Cup doesn't need milk to be amazing. All right, the Oreo, in my opinion, is relying heavily on the milk for its greatness. All right, Oreos, you take a bite, it's hard, it's crunchy. That Reese's, when you take that first bite of a Reese's Cup, it's soft, it melts in your mouth. It's amazing.
Closes that mouth. It gets a little sticky and dry. Don't you need something to wash it down, like a glass of milk, maybe?
I have a feeling Trudeau won. I have a feeling Trudeau won his debate club because he can take anything and just debate against it.
I have a bad problem of arguing everything. So yes, probably. So do we need to give it a few more moments to close the vote, or are we ready?
Oreos needs one more vote to get back in this game, so we'll give them 30 seconds.
I'm calling the Reddit voters. I want the Reddit voters to hop in. The 7-minute delay. I'm on a recount.
Jimmy, make your case for Oreos from those last 30 seconds.
All right. So when I was thinking to make my decision between the two, I said which one I'm actually going to snack on. Right. This is Mark's Snackness. Reese's aren't something you snack on. That's a dessert you have when you bite. I've sat there with a box of Oreos and just ripped through them in one sitting. Right at noon when I'm sitting there at 10:30, I need my morning snack. I'm gonna grab an Oreos over a Reese's. Not saying which one's better or not, but an Oreo is much more snackable than a Reese's. Oh, UMass hockey! Sorry, I got hyped up.
Is that the scotch kicking in?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I think Reddit just threw you an Oreos vote.
Let's go.
No way.
Reddit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're waiting for the. Oh, is this the mail-in vote?
This is the mail-in vote. We're coming in
Okay.
late. Oh no. All right, so hey, here's the deal, guys. The next vote, I don't care which way it goes, decides this. So Reddit, Facebook, anyone new? with the
why
new
you
vote?
changing the rules?
New.
We can't wait here. We can't wait here all day.
Trudeau's
need a
acting
vote.
like Georgia.
Oh god damn it! Oh no, this guy was the same guy commenting twice. You almost got me with the double order.
Yeah, nice play, sir. Thank you.
Good try, Reefer.
He's got half of Reese's. Think about it.
This guy likes Oreos dipped in sausage water. That's an interesting tactic. Actually, I think we should just. I think we just should disqualify this guy's vote.
Trudeau, can Emmanuel read the last comment that was placed on the Facebook? Because it's
Here
about
it
him.
goes. Here it goes. I was going to vote for Oreos, but after the lie about the circle, I just don't believe our beliefs align.
So it looks like Reese Cups is the winner. Congrats, Trudeau.
Champion
Damn.
of the snacks, Reese's Cup in its rightful place on the top of the mountain. Congratulations, Reese's. Congratulations to your cups. Congratulations to your eggs. You are the superior snack.
Hey, Emmanuel, who wrote that, by the way?
Who do you think?
I got you, Trudeau. I got you.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for listening to the podcast. We started off real heavy. If you stuck through the whole podcast, listened to us all the way, we had a little fun at the end. Really appreciate you watching live on our various live streams. We appreciate you guys listening on podcast. For those listening on podcast, continue to do so. We put content out once a week. You'll hear this on podcast on Monday. We want to thank you again. Make sure if you liked what you heard, subscribe, rate, and review to the podcast. We always love return listeners. We really appreciate that. I want to thank Jimmy Gilchrist, or James Gilchrist, the fancy version, our guest, for joining us today on such short notice. Thank you, buddy.
No
Go
problem.
UMass
Always
Hockey.
a pleasure. Go UMass Hockey, world champs.
And we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks for listening, and peace out.